Montana schools have decided that there is not nearly enough bullying going on, so they're gonna start to find some ways to enshrine it into their actual regulations. The schools there are now not gonna be able to punish students who purposefully misgender or dead name their transgender peers under a legislative proposal being backed by the Republicans right now. Obviously, opponents of this say this is going to increase bullying because that is literally the only potential outcome of this, is more of the sort of bullying that the Republicans like and want to encourage. That's what it is. It's co-sponsored, by the way, by more than 24 GOP lawmakers. It would declare that it is not discrimination to use a transgender classmate's legal name or refer to them by their birth gender. Schools would be prevented from adopting policies to punish students who do so. The main sponsor, Representative Brandon Lurr, doesn't want you to believe that he's just a bigot or anything. He's got a great scientific, logical argument for this. He says his children who live on a farm and ranch have learned from a very young age that cows are cows and bulls are bulls, and it's not open for interpretation. And I say that America, the richest, most powerful nation in the world, should definitely be ruled by people who talk like that. Anyway, he says children should not be forced to call somebody something they're not. That's the issue. They're not, they are. They are actually the thing they want to be called. Your attempt to say that otherwise doesn't make it so. That's not actually how it works. In any event, it's absolute garbage. It's designed to encourage bullying. That's what it's for, with the goal being, if we enlist kids to hound trans youth day after day, year after year, then maybe some of them will never transition or whatever. Maybe some of them will, like, that's the idea. It is, they are not trying to stop specific medical procedures. They're trying to eliminate trans people as a thing. They don't want that to exist anymore. That's what this is about. Anyway, I know we were just talking about legislation targeting kids before, Ben, but what do you make of this?
Yeah, I mean, I hate these people so much. They're literally
why?
I mean,
hold up. You're throwing words like hate around. They seem lovely, cows, bulls, whatever.
Yeah. Oh my God. I hate these people so much. No. Okay. Like, look, chat. Let's just be real. Let's be very real. What do these people want? Okay. These people actively want, right, trans people not just to not exist, right, but to be victims of suicide. That is just like point blank exactly what this policy is specifically for. Because I cannot tell you how many times, right, whether it's me or one of many other trans people that I talk to or follow on Twitter, living our best lives, we have somebody come in citing suicide statistics, right, about our existence. And it's not because they think that the suicide rate is indicative of like transness being something that's inherently like harmful to yourself. It's a rubbing salt in the wound. It is literally literally wishful thinking on their part. These people are evil. They're monsters, right? They are literally going after not only children, but some of the most vulnerable children in our society. And like fundamentally for what? Because like, look, I know that I have a master's degree in biotechnology. I'll go on this rant if you really want me to, because like trans women are biologically women. I know this is wild, but there's like a huge laundry list of things that are used to determine biological sex. And your brain is on that list of things, right? It is literally on that list of things. And believe it or not, I know this is really wild. I'm on hormones, right? Hormones is one of those things that is a determining factor of biological sex. So have I then changed my biological sex, or have I slid one of these things into from one category to another? And then it changes your bone structure. My shoe size is shrunk. I'm shrinking physically. Your bones change even as an adult. Like all of the stuff that they say, it's never gonna change this. It's never gonna do this. It's never gonna do this. They have no idea what they're talking about. These are like ignorant fools that just want to be hateful. So like straight up, the only reason they would ever pass any type of law, right, that to protect people who want to actively misgender people is to cause psychological harm. Because the one thing that they're afraid of, like, let's be real, one thing that these transphobes hate more than anything else is the idea that femininity in any way, shape, or form could possibly be desirable. That is what these people hate more so than anything else. Because like at the end of the day, they hate women so much. Like they just really do.
No. It's the same people, by the way, that want to outlaw discussions of white privilege because that'll hurt kids' feelings. It's, the same people who don't want a teacher to casually mention that they're gay because kids are so sensitive that that will destroy them. They need to be protected from these scary realities, but hounding them specifically in this way is now legally protected. It's like, again, like when we talk about things being systemic, they are enshrining them in actual law. These are not just terrible cultural things or whatever. These are the official legal positions of a party. Absolutely terrifying. By the way, I'm glad that you are here to add that scientific component to it and talk about these different, sliders and everything and different ways of. For me, like, even if you didn't have any of that, which makes perfect sense, I wouldn't care. Get off people's asses is what I believe about it. It has nothing to do with you. If the worst thing going on in your life is that a trans person exists 3,000 miles away, then what you need is not a change in the law. What you need is a GD hobby. Okay,
Yeah,
and there's many great ones. I can suggest some if you want to DM me.
Yeah, and like seriously, like if you ever like are bothering yourself with what is in somebody else's pants, you really need to ask yourself what on God's green earth you are doing with your entire life, right?
Yeah.
Like, because if it's if it's not somebody that you're in a relationship with consensually, then it shouldn't even be on your mind in the first place.
Should not mind your business. It's the Karenization of America in multiple different aspects. Okay, in a moment, we're gonna move on to another topic, everyone. But first, let's see what's going on out there in the audience. Chase Lindley, member for 18 months, says, took a mental health day and glad to spend it here live with John and Ben. We're glad that you are spending it in that way, thank you. Beta Ray Bob sent in a super chat saying, how long do you think it will take for people being questioned by the GOP to ask the questions what reality they're asking questions from? I think we've seen a little bit of that, because again, they just say the thing that they saw in a meme. Marjorie Greene believes whatever she sees on the internet. That's actually how her brain works. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.